Hello and welcome back to the channel where we provide you with tips and tools to help you move with purpose. In today's video, we're going to kick off a series of exercises to help address the rotator cuff muscles. The rotator cuff muscles provide dynamic stability to the shoulder joint and are a commonly injured group of muscles. And I'd like to add in here that if your rotator cuff muscles are injured or commonly injured, there is a good chance that there is also some scapular instability which will transfer more load and force into the rotator cuff muscles, making them more susceptible to injury. The scapular instabilities should also be addressed along with the rotator cuff muscles themselves. One of the key muscles that is a scapular stabilizer is the serratus anterior. We do have a thorough video that includes an exercise for that muscle. You can check the link below in the description to access that. There's a multitude of great exercises for the rotator cuff muscles. The ones that I've selected for this video are dumbbell exercises that are easy to perform with very little equipment, so you can do them at home. There are 4 rotator cuff muscles. 3 of them contribute to the external rotation in the shoulder joint. One of them contributes to the initiation and abduction at the shoulder joint, and the last one contributes to internal rotation of the shoulder joint. In this video, I'm going to show you an exercise that's more specific to the supraspinatus muscle, which is the one that helps initiate abduction in the shoulder joint. It is also one of the most commonly injured rotator cuff muscles. We're also going to touch on an exercise for the infraspinatus and teres minor, but it also hits the supraspinatus muscle. So here we go. Now the supraspinatus muscle, the muscle that helps with the initiation of shoulder abduction, attaches to the top of that shoulder blade and then travels across that shoulder joint and attaches into the top of your humerus here. So we're going to choose a movement that accentuates that line of travel that muscle follows. The exercise that we're going to use is a side-lying lateral raise. The range of motion that we're going to use to make this exercise a little bit more specific for the supraspinatus is by coming across the body in this seatbelt motion. What that's going to do is put a little bit more stretch or tension on that line of travel that the muscle follows. From here, we're going to raise up and abduct the arm to only about 10 to 15 degrees. That's going to be the initiation range of motion of abduction that's going to put the most strain on the supraspinatus muscle. If we go above that, our deltoid muscles are going to start to kick in and do a little bit more of the work. So with this exercise, I recommend you start off with a lighter weight. We're going to start coming across the body in that seatbelt motion. We're raising up to your 10-15 degrees. You can pause here for an isometric contraction and then slowly come back down. Now the supraspinatus also contributes to some external rotation of that shoulder. So you can take this exercise and as you're raising up, add a little bit of external rotation at the shoulder and then slowly come back down. Now this movement can be performed on a bench where you can get a little bit more range of motion out of that seatbelt crossover of the body. And you can add in a little bit more internal rotation as well at the bottom. The second exercise that we're going to look at today is a sideline external rotation. And this exercise is going to target more of the infraspinatus and teres minor muscles of the rotator cuff. The way we're going to set up this exercise from the sideline position is by taking your hand and placing it over top of your belly button. This is going to give you the appropriate angle of your forearm, and it's also going to give you the appropriate space of your elbow between your torso, which is going to place that shoulder in the right or appropriate position for the movement. We don't want it to be resting directly on top of your body, pinching off those muscles. So a lot of people will recommend you roll up a towel or use a yoga block as a bolster to place underneath that shoulder, and you can do that. The downside is you're going to take away the effect that it's going to have on the supraspinatus muscle. Because as we learned in the last exercise, the supraspinatus muscle helps with the first 10 to 15 degrees of abduction. So if we look at what's happening here, when you place your hand over that belly button, your humerus is going to be roughly at that 10 to 15 degrees of abduction. Having you hold your arm in that position as you're externally rotating is going to also hit that supraspinatus, so you get more bang for your buck with this sideline exercise. So the motion is going to be hand over the belly button. We're going to keep the elbow pinned into that spot, and we're going to think of rotating ball and socket from the shoulder, like our arm is on a swivel, so the elbow doesn't move from over top of the torso, and we're externally rotating up as high as you can so that that forearm is still perpendicular to the ground, and then slowly rotating back over top of the belly button. So we're going to start off using a light weight once again, and from here, dumbbell starts over top of the belly button, externally rotating up to that top position, and then slowly back down. Using a nice slow tempo with good control is recommended for this movement. With these exercises, I recommend lighter weights and using isometric at the end ranges or higher repetitions. We want to feel a nice little burn in those muscles, but we don't want to work them to full fatigue since we need them for stabilization on a regular basis. The recommended protocols are going to be in the description below. Now, if you like this video and you find it helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. Thanks again for tuning into the channel. Stay tuned. We're in the next video. We're going to cover another 2 exercises, one that's going to hit the infraspinatus and teres minor in an arm abducted position, and then an exercise for your subscapularis as well. Thank you so much for watching.